Hi, my name is Chef Kevin Reardon from Hyatt Penn's Landing, Philadelphia. We're visiting the Portovano Brothers Mushroom Farm, Kennett Square, Pennsylvania.
9 days old, and we keep it on the wharf for 21 days. We start with fresh hay, 20 tons of fresh hay, about 40 tons of straw-bedded horse manure.
Okay.
And with that, we add cottonseed hulls as a carbon supplement. We add cocoa shell, which is over here. It's the bean that is shelled out of the cocoa shell. We use wet brewer's grain. We use chicken manure, gypsum, soybean meal, cottonseed meal. So we're deriving all of these nitrogen compounds from different sources rather than using one source. And if you use one source, we have a specific recipe or formula we go by. If you use one source and that compound varies a little bit in nitrogen level, it messes up our formula. If you use a little bit of different amounts of a variety of different things, we end up with a much more consistent product. This is my son Ben.
Hi Ben, how you doing?
Nice to meet you, Ben.
Nice to meet you.
How's it going? So he was just explaining the compost?
Yeah, he's explaining the compost.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I don't know where do you want to look at this a little bit?
Yeah, we can talk about this. So basically this is about halfway through the curing process.
Right.
That's about a 3-week, 20-day roughly process, and it varies on the season. We roughly mix the materials, the bulk hay, and then we use horse bedding, which is straw and the droppings and manure from the stables. And that's a roughly a 50-50 blend, and then other supplements that you may have talked about.
Yeah, I went through everything real quick.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to run.
Let's show the peat moss. The peat moss is on top?
The peat moss is on top. It's an 1.5-inch layer, and there's not really any nutritive value to it.
Right.
What it does is create an ideal surface for the mushrooms to grow on and retain moisture, which mushrooms are roughly 90% moisture, so they have to get that. It has to be very moist on the top to keep them, keep the quality good.
Okay.
Come with portobello and not pick them, leave them, and then which ones are.
That's the pickers able to tell by that? I was
And-
just thinking about that for a while.
You see how thin the product is called spawn?
Right.
It's basically moldy grain with the specific strain of mushroom on it. So they'll take the most productive, the largest, best looking mushroom with the highest yields, and then replicate that.
Wow.
So that each company has several different strains. One might be for larger mushrooms, one might be more production with smaller mushrooms. So you can select which strain you'd like to use in your growing material. And then you purchase that material, sprinkle the spawn on top of the growing beds, and then it gets mixed in with it's called a spawning machine, but it's basically similar to a rototiller that goes down the bed, chops it up, and then evenly distributes it throughout the bed.
Wow. How did you know? This is by family practice or just years of
Both.
doing it?
I went to Penn State and I was in the agricultural science major. They have a mushroom science minor there also.
Wow.
So I would learn more of the science behind it and then learn more of the hands-on stuff. Mechanically, it would be too much loss on the set height. Trying to cut everything off of that size.
What's causing that? Like, one is just by how?
At this stage, some of these were left over from the
Oh,
first break,
I see.
and we call them stragglers. And then some of them are all these roughly the same size. This is the second flush coming out.
These are all portobello mushrooms?
These are all.
Greens?
These will be a mix between greens and portobellos because they're a little bit thicker.